I don't know if you guys saw any behind the scenes stuff or anything like that. I did not get a chance to look up any of it beforehand, but I was curious to see if there were any interviews or anything with Alexander Skarsgård about this movie, and particularly about him getting into shape for this movie,
Mhm.
because in True Blood, he's just this big, tall, lanky vampire who's supposed to have started his life as a Viking, and and then uh, years later, after that show is all over, he did Tarzan, and it's a movie where 90% of the film he's walking around shirtless, as you'd expect in a Tarzan movie, and I think I want to say it was on Conan or something. I don't remember, but one of those, talk shows, late night talk shows or whatever. I just remember him promoting the movie, and they were specifically asking him about how he got into shape for it, because he went from being kind of tall and lanky to this just like ripped, cut guy for Tarzan. And I wish I could remember. I wanted to look this up ahead of time because it was such a funny story to me. But um, it's like he tells a story about how for that movie it was just brutal. He absolutely hated getting in shape for that movie because it was like months and months and months of eating like 7 times a day, nothing but like broccoli and boiled chicken and stuff like that. And he had this trainer, this like Icelandic trainer or something like that, who had a really funny name. I can't remember. It was like, I want to say it was actually like Thor or something like that. It was like it was a very like out of mythology kind of name, and it was just like you wouldn't believe that a gigantic trainer like that would have that name. It's so appropriate and funny. And he just tells a story about like how day in and day out of training nonstop for this thing, he got so depressed that at one point in time he was there and the trainer walked in and saw him, and just this look on his face, and he was just so dead-eyed, and he just said like, hey, listen, let's go, let's go. He's like, what? He's like, come on, let's go. And they get in the car, and he's like, whatever you want, I don't care what, we're gonna get something. What do you want to eat? And he's like, he just says that it was his little cheat day or something, and he just went and got like a pizza and hamburgers and just like gorged himself on all these like fatty foods and stuff like that, because he was about to commit suicide. He was like, he just couldn't take it anymore. And the guy was, he just got to have a beer and eat all this food with his trainer and stuff like that. And so it's like, after hearing this funny story that's much more funny from him, of course, the way he tells it is really funny, but I wanted to see, because he is even bigger in this movie, and I really wanted to see it, like if he had some similar stories, or if he was just saying it was like a lot of the same or whatever. But I was hoping to look that up, and I never got a chance to. So
I think I mostly saw that it said in the trivia that he exercised 6 times a week, um, like 6 hours a day or something. It was like something ridiculous. But maybe he just got better at it. Like maybe he found a system that worked better,
yeah, it's
that's
possible.
less grueling. As, I think was it like Christian Bale famously when he lost the weight for The Machinist.
Yeah,
It's like he ate tuna and apples all day or something like
ugh,
that. It's just Christian Bale is something special when it comes to
yeah,
weight loss. But yeah, no, it's interesting how these people, it's basically your day job for like months
yeah,
is just to be in shape. There's also a thing about Henry Cavill said um, that for the Superman stuff, I heard him say it on a talk show. It's not just that you need to really exercise and stuff. It's for the days that you're gonna do a shirtless
yes,
um, scene. You need, it's like this whole thing. You have to dehydrate yourself. Like you have to
yeah.
not
See,
drink
it
water.
shows your muscles through your skin better.
Exactly. Like you need to like. It's not just that you have to be in shape. Is that you have to like basically fast and dehydrate your body to the point of almost danger, just so you can shoot the scene and look great, and then you kind of like get your water
Yeah,
uh, thing back in your body. But yeah, it is interesting what the grueling thing that they go through for these movies in the modern age. You almost feel like maybe with the digital technology, you could just like find a way to
No,
make that a little bit easier.
I don't want to get into that trend. I like to hear stories, and I like to see movies where actors dedicate themselves to stuff. But
Yeah, no, I think it's good. If anything, it shows to people, normal people, that it's all dedication. If you really wanted to, it's fairly easy to gain weight, lose weight, get in shape. Obviously, you need time and resources. It's not
yeah,
that easy, but the fact that it's possible
yeah.
is something.
I remember a story I always loved when I was in like junior high and stuff like that. There was after Kurt Russell made Soldier, that was like the biggest he ever got for a movie physically. And he said that he had to train and diet for, especially since he was older at the time. You know, he's an older guy, and so he had to train and diet for, he said, like 6 to 8 months or something like that. And he was talking about it after the movie, and he said this was an incredibly like difficult thing for him. And he said, I'm really proud of the movie, I'm happy I did it, but he said I'll never do it again, ever. Like, I will never do this ever again. And the person interviewing him said, like, he said, what if there's a sequel? And he said, I will not do a sequel to this movie. There's no way. I will not put myself through this again. And he said, I guess at the time, right around then, it would have been late 90s, probably 97, 98 or something like that. I think someone had very famously gotten some sort of very high paycheck, probably like a Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks or something of that nature, had gotten like a $35 million paycheck for one movie or something. And they asked him, what if they gave you $35 million to do a sequel? And he looked at it and said, for $35 million, I'll do a sequel. I'm just telling you right now, you're not going to get the same quality of Soldier.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to get a flabbier Soldier. I'll do it for $35 million. But I mean, you know, I just guarantee you, I will not go through this again.
Yeah,
It's not easy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is kind of odd that it tends to become like national news whenever any actor, let's face it, usually women, are asked to lose weight, and everybody gets super duper offended by like studios asking certain uh, actresses, usually playing certain characters, to lose weight, even though, like, in the Star Wars movies, everybody, all of the older actors were asked to lose weight, including Mark Hamill, and I don't know if they asked Harrison Ford, but
I think they did. I don't remember.
yeah, but everybody's focused on everybody's focused on that kind of stuff, and like bulking up like that is really difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get Ryan Reynolds in Blade Trinity, nobody's saying, "Oh, how dare they ask Ryan Reynolds to get down to 3% body fat and be absolutely shredded for that movie." I mean, seriously, find the article where anybody's complaining about that, or like Hugh Jackman talking about being in the Wolverine and deciding that. I mean, that's the thing. The studio didn't actually ask him. He just decided himself that he was never in the shape that he wanted to be in for Wolverine, and so he called up Dwayne Johnson and asked him what diet he is usually on when he wants to make sure that he's really, or maintaining how big he is. And Dwayne Johnson just said, like, yeah, about 6,000 calories of chicken breast a day and steamed broccoli and that kind of junk. And
Yeah.
get into the gym for 6 hours a day every day for several months. I mean, but the thing is, like, with this film, I mean, it's just one of those things where, I mean, no, it is not realistic for Sarsgaard to maintain that kind of a body in his everyday life. But you don't get the same effect in this movie if you just see this actor as he looks every day, just living his life as a normal guy.
Certainly not.
He has to put the work into it, and that's part of the job. And I just don't understand why it's in one direction here where you're like, okay, well, okay, in order to be in the shape that you need to be in for this movie, we are going to pay you for 6 months to not have a beer, yeah, abstain from a lot of really delicious foods, eat nothing but healthy stuff that is regulated by a nutritionist, and work with a trainer all day, every day for a certain period of time, so you can produce this image on film that will sell this character to an audience. And nobody raises his or her hand and says, "Oh, well, it's just awful that the filmmakers would ask the actor to do that."
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just.
Are you saying
Something of,
compared to the reaction they have when women are asked to
or
lose
like,
weight?
or like when Bryce Dallas Howard, yeah, like when she was apparently she was asked by the studio to ask a little to lose a little bit of weight on Jurassic World,
Two
the
or
last
one?
one, the
Well,
last one.
well, I mean, I
Uh,
don't. I think it's a slippery slope. We could get into a real black hole of a subject here talking about
yeah,
this, but my take on it would be that overall, I think that too much is made of it because, as you very well pointed out, there's always been an expectation of what we're going to be putting on film and what kind of image we're trying to portray for the movie and so on and so forth. But I would say that the reason why you see more articles and more people complaining about what is being asked of women is just because I think there's more of a history of it being asked of them unnecessarily, perhaps. I mean, I think
yeah,
I don't know what Bryce Dallas Howard looked like between when they told her we want you to come back for the next movie and when she actually showed up on set having lost that weight. I don't know. I don't want to make any like jump to any conclusions and say maybe she'd let herself go or something like that, or maybe it's just at this point, maybe it's just the like knee jerk reaction of the studio just telling women that they need to lose a certain amount of weight, and that would be wrong. I don't want to
yeah,
say that it's one or the other. I just think that that's
right,
why you see more of it. I think you see.
yeah, yeah,
I'll put it this way: whether this is accurate or not, the the idea is that there's a established history of women being asked to adhere to a certain body image that might not be as realistic or something like that. Now, I think there's obviously a counter argument to that to be made when it comes to like what men are asked to do and stuff like that. But I would say that's the reason, at least the reason why you see a lot more complaints and a lot more articles about it is the history.
that's fair. I don't want to derail the conversation by
Yeah.
dwelling on this
It's
subject.
already derailed, but
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
totally fine. But yeah, I think that's the main difference is that with men, it's it's in general it seems like it's not an issue. Whether it's gaining weight for a part, it's never an issue. Like De Niro gaining weight for parts,
Mm,
and if it's getting in shape for a part, so you have the abs, that totally makes sense. And if it's losing a lot of weight, like The Machinist and some other ones, um, like Dallas Buyers Club, stuff like that, that makes sense. But with women, it's more like, you're a little on your chubby side this year, and this character needs to, be more appealing to men. Like if that's the main reason, then yes, that's an issue. If it's the
yeah,
fact that the character is just supposed to be fit, and it just wouldn't be like them to have 10, 20 extra pounds,
Right.
then that's I think that's what it is that like, oh, you don't think the audience would accept this character with 10, 20 pounds more, something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, like stories like Raging Bull. I mean, obviously, it makes sense that that's not going to be like a a subject of controversy, because I mean it's literally part of the story that Jake LaMotta was having all these fluctuations in weight throughout his career. And I mean, maybe you could make an argument that, oh, well, maybe they should have just put Robert De Niro in a fat suit and not asked him to actually change his body that much. But I think that would be a really dumb argument to make too. But like Christian Bale actually talked about when he was first cast as Batman, Christopher Nolan asked him to bulk up and everything like that, and so Christian Bale went off to do that, and apparently there was a miscommunication, and Christian Bale kind of came back. I think Christian Bale described his physique as like looking more like a bear. Like he was just big, like he was just huge, and maybe he actually had a little bit of extra, flab on him because he was just trying to get himself to be bigger. And
Wow.
Christopher Nolan was, I was thinking more like cut. I was thinking more like, and so Christian Bale goes back to the drawing board for a couple of months and, builds himself back up to, what we see in the actual movies. But
This was the Batman movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's I can see that.
You guys,
He went too much like Bane there.
yeah.
yeah.